The following program is an Animal House radio production.
And therefore affect the recipe and produce a slightly different protein or no protein at all. So on that basis, we went out to press. We wanted to see if there was some real interest, and we were totally inundated. What was very interesting, though, was that we then had a couple of people, families, contact us and tell us that everybody in the family was allergic except to this particular cat that they had. And we were aware that, as with any natural mutation, there were bound to be cats out there with a mutation on this gene. So the cats essentially came to us. What we had developed was a very sophisticated test. We tested the gene. We saw it had a modification. We tested the protein. We then went into trials with very allergic individuals. We produced kittens, and that is essentially how we got ourselves into business. And so these are not genetically modified cats. They have a natural occurring mutation.
Now, were these sort of double-blind studies, where you had owners that were allergic and owners that weren't allergic, and cats that would impart allergens, and of course your kitties that wouldn't? Like,
exactly.
Did you have two from each side?
Yeah, we even had cat toys that resemble, that felt, because they were all, they were blindfolded. We even had, toys that felt like the real thing, and that study was very, very successful. But obviously, it didn't necessarily mimic what would happen in the real world. So, just over 2 years ago, we actually delivered our cats to our first customers, and the people that come to us are very, very allergic. I mean, literally, they test off the charts, have never been able to have a cat. And so that was our real world test. And it's been extremely, extremely successful. We have people who, kids, for example, the only time they can ever actually get near a cat is through the pet store window, who now get to sleep with our cats,
wow.
Every night. So it has been successful. It is not, importantly to mention, it is not 100% successful. It's about 95, and the reason being that cats have 4 different allergens, and although we have a modification in the lane, the nastiest allergen, there are still three minor allergens. Not much is known about them, and occasionally somebody will have a predisposition to have a reaction to those 3 allergens. But 95% is still a pretty good success rate, and 5% of our clients actually come back to us and take a second kitten. So that's good news.
So Simon, have you offered Barack Obama? Have you offered Barack Obama anything?
Yeah, I have actually. We came out with our dog we came out with our hypoallergenic dog that we call the Jabari in spring of this year, and we've actually had 100% success with the dog. We have yet to have any family who've returned the dog to us because they've had, they've been allergic to the dog. And it was surprising. We started to get lots of emails and phone calls from just people that were interested that one of the Obama children was allergic to a dog, and therefore would we be interested? We've tried to make some inroads. Of course, it would be great for us if we could get that dog in, and it works. It works, which is important.
Now, the question that I have, and put this in layman terms, please, because I'm sure a lot of people are listening and they don't work in the field like Mike does and yourself. So, in layman terms, what do you have to do with the cat from birth, and I guess from its mother from birth in order to how do you genetically alter them, essentially?
Well, this is the important thing. We do not genetically alter them. Okay. Our cats have a natural mutation, just as sometimes cats have big ears or a short tail or long legs, short legs. Our cats have a natural mutation. It's just that you cannot see that mutation.
So it's a controlled. It's a controlled mutation. How do you control this mutation?
Well, basically, it is a dominant mutation. It passes through to the next generation. What we obviously do, which we would do anyway, and we do with our other pets that are non-hypoallergenic cats and dogs, we always spay and neuter them because we don't, from our own protection, we obviously don't want our clients breeding our cats. But it is a dominant mutation, and it has moved from generation to generation, which is fortunate.
So my question for you is, what kind of breeding stock do you have? Because my biggest concern, and this is why the purebred dog and cat industry is kind of going down the tubes, is we're doing a lot of line breeding and a lot of inbreeding. Do you have a large enough population of kitties where you're not going to be breeding, grandfather to granddaughter?
That's a great question, and yes, we do. Having some background in genetics, we can track very carefully, and we don't produce obviously thousands of these cats.
Right.
We are able to bring in new breeding offspring. In fact, we only breed our queens once a year.
Okay.
So we are able to bring in new blood, and we are very, very careful to ensure that exactly we don't do that, because we don't consider this a breed per se.
Right.
So we can take queens, we can bring in slightly different queens. We're not breeding to a standard, if you want to say. We are selecting the ones that we really want because of looks and sort of inbreeding that way. Where inbreeding occurs, we can bring in very different animals, very different cats that really keep our bloodlines very, very strong.
Now,
and that's why we've had very, very healthy kids.
Now, so here's where my issue comes in, and I have to say the issue with cost. I mean, from what it sounds like, is that you've created your own market, and you've created a supply and demand for something that is going on right now, and with the prices that you're charging, from what I saw on the website, there's a dog. There is a dog that you have that's modified, controlled modified, as you said, which is upwards of $150,000.
15,000, not 150, right? Am I correct? 15,000.
15,000. Correct.
15,000. Sorry, pardon me.
No, it is. Yeah, it's 15,000. We put a lot of research and development in. They're out there. They're 100% successful to date, and it's more. I think also what's important for people to realize is that there is a lot more to just producing a dog that is hypoallergenic. For obvious reasons, at least 3/4 of our clients have never owned a dog or a cat because they're allergic, and so it's very important when they get that pet from us that the pet is fully socialized, it's friendly, it's been spayed or neutered and microchipped and vaccinated, so really the customer can have the best experience.
Well, that's great. It sounds good to me, anyway. Yeah.
And again, for example, we offer a 1-year guarantee. I mean, God forbid one of our cats or dogs gets out and gets hit by a car. No questions asked. We will replace it, because a lot of our clients buy them because children are allergic, and we appreciate that. And the loss of a pet can be traumatic. It's not the same cat or dog, but we need to make sure that we can replace that. And so built into that price is much more than just, here's a dog, there you go. Now it's your problem in a sense. We are there for it. And it does. They do cost money. It's still we have a waiting list.
Now, Simon, do you find that it was something I was talking about earlier on the program? Is my worry for the president-elect's daughter was that you can have a non-allergy to a puppy, and then they grow to adulthood and they change their coat, and all of a sudden they can. In your experience, things don't change. I mean, once they're puppy versus adult dog, still the same scenario, because it's a genetic thing, obviously, so it shouldn't really change. But they do change their coats.
Well, that's a little bit of the sort of misinformation that sits out there. I talk to potential clients all day, and you get clients who will say, well, I hear that a kitten doesn't produce allergen, but when it gets older it does. No, a kitten produces, and a puppy produces a lot of allergen. Now, there are some breeds of cats and dogs that are purported to be low producers of allergens, but the issue is that, yes, you bring that cat or dog in, you don't react, and then 3 weeks later you wake up in the middle of the night and you're having an allergy attack. The reason being is that the allergen, even if the cat or dog is producing a small amount, will build up in the environment, and will get to a threshold level where you will react. But I know, the rare occasions where we've had people react to our cats, where there's been a reaction to these minor allergens, they will react quickly. There's no doubt about it. And they're reacting to a kitten, not reacting to an adult.
So, Simon, I want to just tell our viewers across Canada and across the United States, for more information on your service, people can go to www.lifestylespets.com, and they can get in contact with you for any of the other information that you have in your services. But one thing that I want to just add before I let you go is, how would you compare this if you were to compare what you're doing right now with these animals and focusing strictly on this? How would you compare this to humans? What would you call it if you were doing this to humans?
Good question. Nobody's ever asked us. I don't really know. I mean, is it natural selection? Is that what humans have done, by default for centuries? I don't really know.
Well, it kind of has the. I mean, not to dismay the service, but I mean, it kind of has that discussion or debate point where people can say, well, we're breeding things for only certain reasons. We're breeding things for only certain attributes, and that is my only worry with this, is that it's something great that can help people, but also if someone does something if someone goes the opposite way, it can end up hurting something, not on the animal side, but I think on the human side.